So, hello everyone and welcome to APPF1. You join us for round number 6 of the Sunday Night Sprint Championship, which we all know is the best night of the week, the spectacle of the weekend. And what a treat we have in store for us tonight. First heading to Montreal and to the circuit Gilles Villeneuve, which is 15 corners of pure racing. With tight, stringent track limits, people are going to need to tread carefully, especially in the vital one-shot qualifying. After that, we head across to APP's best producer of racing, and that is, of course, Bahrain. The full layout of the circuit providing the reverse grid sprint race. With the championship as close as ever, the Red Bull Titans dominating the front every round is crucial. I'm of course Zach Sweeney bringing you the action. APPF1 Sprint Championship sponsored by TC Focus is about to get underway. Apologies for the intermission, guys. I didn't realise I had my mic on mute for everything, so I can only apologise for that. I did bring Scott. In fact, I said he's going to be the one that needs to keep up. Regardless, that the Canadian fans are going to be polite enough to not say anything if he spins. Deep down, they're going to be really disappointed. So fingers crossed that he can keep it there. And yeah, definitely Patterson, really big name in motorsport, especially sim racing. Big guy, and expect him to be doing well. Of course, expect the Red Bulls to be doing well. Expect everyone to be doing well, especially around such a fun circuit that a lot of people find to be really fun and flowing and fast. And just waiting for everyone to ready up, and then we can get going for one-shot qualifying. Very crucial one-shot qualifying, must be said. And here we go. We're going to go on board with Vardy, second place man in the championship. Pretty much master when it comes to qualifying. You can see negotiating turn 2 really well. Maybe not. A bit of a slide as he now approaches towards turn 3, where we saw Sebastian Vettel have a bit of a controversial moment in 2019. Hooks that up really nicely. You want to maximise that inside curb as much as you can now through turn number 5 into 6 to round off sector 1. 19.6, not too bad at all, but the Red Bulls still showing strong. 2 of them in the top 4, so really good showing. Scott currently leading the way for the Canadian fans, doing a really good job, and Max and Powell's both doing really well. Max really high up now as Vardy negotiates towards turn number 8 and 9. Heading now towards, he's really nailed that well. He's got himself into provisional pole, approaching turn 10. Really big hairpin, big lockup, goes really wide, but as long as he can straighten up the exit and get a good run, good launch up towards the chicane, he should be all good. And then activating the DRS, the drag reduction system, giving them that extra 20 kph as he propels himself so fast down this back straight towards turn 14 and 15. Braking as late as he can. Clip that first curb, clip that second curb. He's invalidated it through that final corner, and that is very easy to do. So it's going to gift Scott P1 in this qualifying session. Very marginally ahead of Davila, though. You can see 24 hundredths of a second separate the top 2, and Pau settling in third as well. So great qualifying from the Alfa Romeo boys, serving strong and carrying that momentum from last week. Of course, hopefully they've remembered to put their setups on. That would definitely help if they can do that. But it is going to be Scott that takes pole position ahead of Davila and ahead of Paus, who rounds off the top 3. Ted, the lone Red Bull, up in the top 4 after Vardy did invalidate aces in P5. Really good showing recently from him with Sumo P6, Conan in P7, Tier P8, Ollie in P9. Patterson rounding off the top 10. So the eSport guys having a bit of a rough qualifying session. Wayne in P11, QB P12, Kiza in P13, Kieran P14. Kington P15, and Max, after running so high for so long, managed to disqualify his lap and invalidate it. Ironcon in P17, and Vardy rounding off the grid in P18. Big shame, and it looks as though, because Vardy invalidated the last corner, it looks like all 3 of them did it at exactly the same point. So big shame, but he's got a very long race ahead of him, or I believe 18 laps to get himself back up. But Alfa Romeo did a really good job. That is a big implication. He needs to recover this because he's quite far down in the championship. Only a few points, only like 14 or so points. But with the closeness of the championship, only 1 point between each position. He's going to need quite a lot to be able to get this done. Bitmappy, where's the enthusiasm? Where's the optimism? Yeah, the Haas boys did P3 last season. Can they do P2? Well, can the same guys? They've moved to Alfa Romeo, but can they do P2 this season? Get to see Vardy racing. Exactly. If he'd have got pole, we all know Vardy just goes off and leaves. So yeah, we'll have to see what he can do. Remember to like the stream if you are enjoying, guys. It's a pleasure to have you all here, and APPF1 Sprint Championship is always a spectacle of the weekend. What we all look forward to every weekend. Now we go green for the formation lap. Scott leading the way ahead of Davler, Palfson P3. Both of these guys really high up. Strong qualifying performances. Seems a bit dark. Seems a bit gloomy, sort of dawn or evening time, definitely, but still good. Gives us some nice lighting for some post-race photos, I suppose. Patterson definitely is an Eastport driver. Yeah, predicted pit stop strategy though, soft to medium or soft to hard. We'll have a quick look at the tyres everyone on. Ollie qualified on those medium tyres. Wayne in P11, best position to be in if you're not in the top 5. Definitely a good place to be in to have that free choice of tyre. Everyone else on softs apart from Iron and Vardy, who's going to be planning to go very long. Watch out for Vardy brake checks. Yeah, exactly right at the back of the grid. He's going to be brake checking a lot of people. Yeah, definitely going to be soft to mediums around here, unless there's a safety car that spices things up. We never know. Scott really high up though, looking to get another win on top of on this season. But Davler and Powell's going to do everything in their power to try and stop it. Powell's really consistently up there now, found his stride on the wheel and really does like Canada. So hopefully we can see him there. Ted as well, very quick in the race. Aces in both Renaults, really quick recently. You can see Scott just weaving around, trying to get that last bit of temperature into his tyres before he lines up on the grid. Doesn't want Davler to be too far back. He wants to keep him nicely packed, keep the pack nice and tight, so he doesn't have to wait too long for the lights to start going on, and he loses a lot of time because of the guys lining up. But really doing a lot of burnouts is Davler, and Palf has been disqualified from the session. So was Kiza, Kieran and Max. So they're going to be in a really awkward situation. Luckily it's happened towards the end of the formation lap, so they're not going to be too disadvantaged. It certainly isn't going to help, that is definitely for sure. But you join us just in time for the race. Everyone lining up now, ready to go. Scott from pole, Davler will be on the outside, but it does tighten up pretty quickly for the inside of turn 2, so we'll have to wait and see if he can get a good enough launch. Back to the grid now, Vardy lining up as we get ready to go racing here in Canada. That is true actually. But here we go then. Green flag has been waved. We go to 5 red lights. Everyone revving up their car. Scott on pole, Davler in second, and we're underway and racing. It's a pretty tentative start. A great start for the Ferrari further back, but it looks as though everyone's just trying to get their way through. Palster, a really poor start. There is Sumo trying to get his way through on the inside, but Scott leads from Palster and Davler in P2, and Ted trying to get up the inside of Palster and get himself into P3. We've got a bit of a timing glitch. Here comes Ted on the inside into turn 3, but Palster around the outside manages to hang on as the Renault of Aces tries to get onto the back of his teammate with Sumo with a great start. He's now closing the gap. He's going to be on the outside. He's going to try and go for it, brake as late as he can around the outside, but Sumo going to close the gap. He's going to send it back up the inside, have the inside run his teammate all the way to the wall. Here we go, 2 by 2 between the 2 Renaults. They're still going to be side by side as they approach turn 7 and 8, and it looks as though Ace is going to win this one at the moment, but Davler falling a little bit off Scott. He's not quite been with him, not the ideal start. Very fast lights, they had to react very quickly to that one. Further down the grid, QB on the back, and Vardy with an incredible start, going side by side with Wayne, who's almost got that, not got that stopped. Vardy on the back of Max now with an incredible start, already up 5 places on lap 1, couldn't have gone really better for him. And now on the back with Max and QB. Here's Max trying to recover, already up 4 as well, a great start, going for the inside, but that is never going to work, so trying to deter QB off his line a little bit. Scott leads off lap 1. We'll cut back to the front. Anything happening? No. Davler and Scott trying to pull away from each other, but it's not quite working. Here's Max still side by side with QB, but he's got himself into the top 11, and Max on the charge for some decent points now, chasing after Ollie, who's lost a position. Patterson up 1 on those soft compound tyres. Yeah, the gap's ever close at the front. Purple sector 1 for Palsters. Yellow flags through sector 1. That is Ironcon gone round, and he's managed to recover. No, he hasn't. He's back into the wall, and that is a big shame there for the racing point. Davila giving it everything to try and stay with him, pretty much equal when it comes to ERS. The Alpha's looking strong. Through turn 10, down the straight. In the slipstream, we won't have DRS for another lap, or well, for another 3 corners. Make it 2. We'll have the drag reduction system enabled. But the drivers can really give it some beans down the back straight. Here's Conan closing the gap on Tyr, but not quite close enough to make a move into turn 13 and 14. And Tyr picks himself up a 3-second time penalty. That's certainly unfortunate. Sumo still on the back of Aces, not been able to get past his teammate. So top 6 stay in station, pretty much exactly how they were off the restart. DRS enabled. Vardy not with the greatest of pace. He's running a less fuel, so saving it on his way through the field. So he's really going for an unorthodox strategy here, Vardy. He's not got the blitzing pace we thought he would coming through the field, but he's playing the long game and he's playing it really, really well. Davila closing on Scott now. He's launching the attack. He's closing, and now he means business. Trying to hook up turn 7 and 8 really well. Conan and Ollie doing well on the debut so far. There's Conan getting past Tyr, and they're still going to run side by side. Yellow flash through sector 2. It looks as though there's a Haas gone round. Back up the inside goes Tyr on Patterson. He's going to lose that position as well. Patterson tapping the back of Conan a little bit slightly, but no harm done. And Conan up into P7. Patterson very intelligently following him through. Davila's closing on Scott. He's going to look, but that's never going to work, so he's going to back off and go for it towards turn 1. Get a good launch. He's activated ERS. He is closing. Scott having to defend early, so Davila's going to take the inside. It'll be the outside for turn 1. How late can he brake? Can he sweep all the way around, the long way around? Yes, he can. It'll be the inside for turn 2, but Scott keeping his footing around the outside. It's going to be a case of who gets on the power more efficiently, and it is going to be Scott that wins out on this case, and that is going to allow Paus and Ted to bring into this fight. So a 4-horse race at the front, with Scott now picking himself up a 3-second time penalty, the first of the leaders to do so. That pressure from Davila really causing him to cut some corners, push as hard as he can. And it is costing him. That's 3 seconds now he needs to worry about. He just needs to hope that in the long race, Davila, Paus and Ted pick themselves up as well, because he can lose up a lot of time here because of it. Very close, very decisive. Paus on the back of Davila. Is he going to go for the move into turn 10? He's going to look, but he's not going to go for it. He's a bit of a tap though, and that's going to send the Alpha teammate round. Maybe a bit of a tap from Ted on the back of Paus, because that was a sudden jolt forwards. That's cost Davila's DRS to Scott there. That was a big, big shame. Paus has lost a bit of time. He's now compromised and maybe under attack from Ted. That's really bunched them up, and that's brought the top 6 really close together. Here's Conan on the back of Ted to the inside of the final chicane. Very, very close there, but a nice move. And finds himself solidifying P8 as Patterson's managed to get his way through. Sumo on the back of his teammate. Top 6 just following each other around. Nice long conga line here. Ollie as well in the top 10, chasing after these guys. Could definitely have a realistic chance of P8. But Tyr and Conan, these two are definitely establishing a rivalry early on. There's Max, an early pit stop for him, unfortunately. Davila getting himself back into that DRS range, that crucial 1 second. Just skirmishing outside of it at the moment. Vardy getting him through himself on Ollie. That's a big Tokyo from Ollie there. Managed to hold that really nicely, but it's going to cost him again to Kington. It's going to lose him 2 places, but Vardy now inside the top 10 and pushing after Tyr, Conan and Patterson in front. Patterson really not being able to stretch his legs very well so far, but yeah, Davila now with that tap from Paus, it's cost him DRS. He's not been able to close the gap. Pretty much exactly follow the leader. And Davila into the pit lane, the first of the front runners to come in. More tyres, 4 medium tyres. Wait. That's a Renault in as well. Medium tyres, so very early stop from these guys. Are these softs dying that quickly then? So Paus setting the sights on Scott. Trying to close the gap maybe where his teammate couldn't. He's pushing really hard. Ted with a 3-second penalty, the second of the top 6 to get one. Now Patterson with one, Conan with one. That is the case at Canada. Very stringent corner cutting penalties. He has closed the gap by around about 2/10, so he is pushing to try and catch and get himself into that toe hook range. Vardy as well with some blistering pace. He's managed to get through on the couple of guys that have maybe pit. Now onto the back of Conan. He's well within DRS. He's using his overtake, that extra 160 brake horsepower. DRS open. Conan isn't too interested in fighting this one too hardly. And Scott, the leader, into the pit lane as well as Paus. No, Paus is staying out again. He's going for an extra lap. Esports guys really are struggling. Patterson, he's in P3 but yet to pit. So Paus using his pace in clear air to try and extend these softs and go for the mediums, maybe with the likes of Scott potentially getting caught up in traffic. That's what he's going to be hedging his bets on. Davila now exiting the pit lane. Where's Scott? It's going to be a very close run towards the line, and Davila's got him. Davila's got the undercut, so the undercut very powerful. Only makes you wonder if Paus can hang on here. What is his pace like compared to Davila? Let's have a quick look at his last lap compared to his teammate. His last lap was a 1:12.8. What was Davila's? 13.2, so he is still quicker, in fact. That was his out lap. But still, he is still very much quicker. Vardy up to P4, extending these mediums very long. Doing a really good job of doing so, and might be able to actually to pit with Patterson and go to the softs. That could work, maybe. There's actually no. In fact, these softs are dying off very quickly. Is Paus going to go straight on? Or is he going to go another lap? He is going straight on. Can he get it stopped? Yes, he can. Well stopped. And Ace is in. Vardy now going side by side with Patterson, who's going to go straight into the pit lane. That's really thrown Vardy off. Going to kill his momentum coming onto the back straight. Scott's still behind Davila. They're going to want to work together. A lot of people now coming into the pit lanes. So where is Paus? There he is now leaving the pit lane. His teammate already passed. Wow. Very powerful undercut then, and Paus has really lost out because of this. Wow, he's lost out big time. What's happened there? Did he have to repair his wing or something? He's lost out nearly 3 seconds to his teammate. Very strange. Here's Patterson going around the outside of Tyr. Had a little look, but yeah, Tyr was always going to take the racing line in that one. There's Tyr, Wayne going very wide, so that's going to allow Tyr and maybe even Patterson to get his way through. Patterson on the outside, and yeah, Wayne not going to fight that one too hard. But Vardy leads the way from the back of the grid. I have to give it to him. Really impressive stuff so far in this race. That is Vardy now into the pit lane, going for soft, surely. He's going to take these to the end of the race. Very unorthodox strategy from Vardy, but if it works, it really will work. He clearly knows what he's doing. He's got a bundle of experience. He's runner-up last season in the inaugural season of the Sprint Championship, so he's definitely a quick guy that knows what he's doing. He's going to come out in P10 and on the softs. He's going to be charging on those softs very quick. Here's Ted on the back of Sumo, applying the pressure to get himself back into the top 4. Sumo without a penalty though. Really good position for him to be. Ted purple to the first sector. DRS open. He's running thin on ERS. Both are running thin on ERS, so he doesn't want to deploy it all now towards turn 7 and 8. Or 8 and 9. No, 7 and 8. This kink is turn 9 and then the hairpin is turn 10. And Sumo going a little bit deep maybe, so Ted going to try and set up a cutback, get a nice straight exit, but Sumo launching off that corner there. Now down towards the final chicane. Ted negotiating it well. He's got a good momentum, good run on Sumo here. He's going to pull to the inside early. Sumo trying to deter him. He's now claiming the corner for turn 1. Can Sumo swoop around the outside? Doesn't look like he's going to fight it. No, he is. Ted compromised on the inside of the curb, so they're still going to run side 2x2. Well, not 2x2, but alongside certainly, and still side by side towards turn number 3 on the outside, just being pushed wide by Sumo. He's managed to hang on to that one. Was fair play to Sumo. Good respect shown from both drivers. And both knowing when to back out. But this fighting has allowed Paus to close up. Still well in the shot for a podium at least. Ted coming back at him outside for turn 7, but he's going to give that one to Sumo. Doesn't want to fight it. Going to set up a double cutback. Have a really good launch. Nice play from Ted to get himself on the outside for turn 10. But is it what he wants? He's running thin on ERS. Palf's behind as well. This battling's only going to cost him time. Ollie leads the way. Scott's still behind Davila. Davila in the prime driving seat for this. But Palf's with a lot of ERS. He knows Ted's vulnerable, so he could go for it towards turn 1. You can see that blinking red light that he's conserving energy. Just isn't strong enough in that final chicane. Ted with a great launch again, trying to put the pressure on Sumo for the podium place. Ollie in. Where is he going to come out? Yellow flash through sector 3. Is that a bit of a tap maybe to the Wall of Champions, or is it just someone having a bit of a moment in the pit lane? But Vardy up to P8 and closing on tier. Palf's, yeah, clumsy mistake costing him there 3 seconds. So Sumo, the only one of the top 6 not to have a penalty. Driving great. Ted's still there, putting the pressure on. Just needs to save a little bit of ERS to try and launch the attack, because that's Palf's his advantage at the moment. But he is close as Ted. He's saved up a little bit, almost equal with Sumo. So he's got all to use down this back straight. He has deployed it, and Sumo's got good enough launch. Sumo really quick on the traction zones. That's something you will notice of Sumo. He's always quick where he needs to be, and that really does help him defend his positions. But Ted really strong for this final chicane. Gonna give it everything. Really strong, really fluid through there as well. So was Palf's actually. He's at the moment just sitting behind and letting them do their thing. But Ted, again, used all his ERS in the attempt down the back straight, and it's going to cost him towards turn 1. Also, Ollie on the back of Vardy. So Ollie really well sticking with him in the Mercedes, and he's got some great pace. Does he? And Vardy still closing on tier, who's 7 seconds back on Aces, so it looks like P7 is the limit for Vardy today. Oh, maybe he's done better. He's surprised us more than that. Perhaps falling a little bit behind in that first sector there. But at the moment, just chilling behind Ted all over the back of Sumo. These guys still going at it for the P3. And further up, Scott and Davila now turn into a 2-horse race. Sumo parking it really nicely. He knows he gets a good enough exit, so he can just defend to cover it off just in case. And deploying his ERS, he knows Ted's going to launch the attack, and he's going to burn through all his ERS. Sumo knows when to save. Ted's going to give it everything. He is closing. Is it going to be enough towards turn 13 and 14? He's going to look. But yeah, again, knows to be smart enough. Cuts that inside and outside. Sumo very shaky, so Ted having to dart to the inside, and this costed momentum. Is going to make Palf go to the outside over the grass. Really committed from Palf to keep his foot in there and around the outside of Sumo, so that mistake really cost him, and Palf's now into P4. Really nicely done to make the most of that, but how fine was that? Sumo squeezing Palf's all the way. Palf's keeping his foot in on the grass. Very nicely done, and now he can set his sights after Ted. And having that car between himself and Sumo really is going to help him. He's got a lot more ERS. He knows these two are going to be vulnerable, so he's going to go for it. Scott sieging Davila out, it seems, waiting for him to waste his energy. As soon as he sees that blinking red light, he's going to go for it. He's got almost triple the ERS of Davila, so really controlling this race well. And all 6 of the top 6, all 7 of the top 7 in fact, have got a 3-second penalty. Vardy, QB and Iron are the only ones without one now. So track limit's always been an issue at Canada. Patterson getting his way through on Ollie. So going backwards a little bit, and Vardy on the back of tier. It is close up and down the field. House closing on Ted, but not quite enough. And yeah, you can now see Davila's running out of ERS, so this is going to be a big confidence boost for Scott. He's going to close as much as he can and try and get him when he can. House and Sumo still having it. So still 3-way fight for P3. Not over just yet. We've got 4 laps of this race remaining. Bit of a tough run through there from Scott. Needs to build up this momentum. That's a big cut from Sumo there. That's definitely going to be a warning at the very least. Now Palf's closer to Ted than Sumo is to him. There's very fine lines though, and House with a lot more ERS to use. He's chilling. He's letting Ted do his thing, waiting for that blinking red light, and then he's going to go for it. He now knows he's got the foothold. And through turn 10, Ted very shaky, going to be a bit compromised. Still managed to get a decent enough exit, but Paus even quicker now, pressing the button and going for this move. Ted vulnerable, and Paus just going to soar around the outside. Doesn't even need to use his overtake. Already cancelled it off just to save that little bit more. And he's up into P3, so Paus doing really well. Ted with another 3 seconds. Scott putting the pressure on Davila, but not enough to go for the move. Had a little look, purple to the final sector, so Riz now putting the pressure on, but burning through his ERS. Paus now, his job is just to defend. Maybe try and back Ted up into Sumo, make them fight. That could be a good option for him. Always will be a good option for him. Don't want to jinx it, but it's looking likely. Paus driving really, really well. With 3.5 laps left of this race to go. Scott putting the pressure on Davila. Paus extending his lead over Ted. So he's got a really nice foothold here. Paus showing that he has some good pace. Scott closing on Davila, but again, both running thin on ERS. He's lost that advantage. He's lost that foothold that he once had. He's burnt through all of it. And Vardy's lost the position to tier, so he's probably have to go in hyper tyre saving mode there. Could definitely cost him. 310 separate them. Scott doing everything. He's going to look on Davila, but again, the closing speed just comes too little, too late. Paus nearly outside the DRS range. P4 needs to stop getting pens. Yeah, Ted needs to focus a bit more. Get his head down. And Scott fallen outside the DRS range of Davila there. Something's happened through that first sector that has definitely cost him. And something that's happened a lot today. Everyone's costing themselves quite a lot and really being their own worst enemy. So Scott well out of this now, and Davila just has to bring it home, not let Scott get back into that DRS range. He should be plain sailing. Vardy now back into that DRS range of tier. Now coming down this back straight. Can Ted launch the move on Paus? Paus with 6 seconds, Davila with 3, Scott with 6, and Ted with 6. So actually this is looking good for Sumo to get himself onto the podium. Paus just needs to extend his gap a little bit more. A really compromised run from there from Vardy. It's really awkward there. That does cost a lot of people. That's where Vardy's losing his time, just hinders his momentum, does not let him get a good enough exit there. So Paus now with 6 seconds. Ted with 6 and Sumo with 3. Paus almost out of the danger zone. Still definitely a long way to go though. 1.5 laps left, not very long. But Sumo can definitely still pick himself up a penalty, and Paus now safe, so looking good for P3. Vardy and Patterson, yeah, Vardy surely can open his tyres up a little bit now. He saved them for so long. Might be able to use everything he's got left to try and go for it. It's going to be his saving. It's what he needs to do if he wants any higher than Peace. Well, actually, he's looking good actually, because everyone else in front of him he knows he's got penalties, so he can just chill behind. Here comes Ted though, now putting the pressure on Paus. These two don't want to battle, otherwise they're both going to lose. It's a really compromised run coming onto the final lap for Ted, so that might be his final opportunity done and dusted. Paus just needs to hang on, charge that battery, all to use. And is that Sumo now with another penalty? I think it might have been. It was Sumo with another penalty. That is going to disadvantage him. That's going to lose his overall advantage on the two in front of him, unfortunately. So now it's a race on track and for position. And Sumo, how has he lost so much time? Did he pick up some damage or something, or some big mistakes have really separated him? And you can see Aces as well is really separated from this. So not entirely sure what's happened there, but yeah, weird. So it's now a 2-horse race between Paus and Ted. Davila has driven really, really well. Kieran retires on the final lap. Why? No, that's going to cost him reverse grid pole. He should have just stuck it out. because it looks as though he's only driving around on the track and he could have gotten to the end. It's going to cost him reverse grid pole. He's going to have to start last for the reverse grid penalty for Ted as well. So on the run to the line, Davila has driven really well through the final chicane, just has to drive it through, drive it home, and he's going to take the first win of the night. Davila across the line. He takes the win in Canada, and Scott, the pole sitter, finishes in second, and Paus, another podium, finishing P3 and rounding off a double podium for Alfa Romeo. Ted, another P4. He's going to be wanting to get himself back onto the podium. Sumo P5, Aces P6, and Vardy across the line. He's managed to get himself P7. Where's it going to be with penalties? Maybe a couple more positions up. P6 for Vardy from the back of the grid. So really, really well done. But it's another race where Ted extends the gap. Goes to show what could have been for Vardy. He had some great pace. Might have been able to get up and be with the fight for the lead. Definitely would have been with the fight for the lead. But Paus on the podium. A double Alfa Romeo podium, and I'm sure he's going to be really chuffed with that one. Paus really stepping forward recently. Nice stride forward in terms of pace. Driving excellently. Yeah, that is going to be the first race done and dusted. Don't go anywhere. We've got the reverse grid race very, very shortly. Paus definitely going to be chuffed for that one. Vardy with driver of the day, very deservedly so, but Paus driving well, even after a botched pit stop. What happened in the stops, Paus? That is puzzling me, but a double Alfa Romeo podium. Yeah, great result for them. Step closer in P2 for the constructors. He's going to be a little bit more hungry now, but Davila takes the first win of the night ahead of Scott and ahead of Paus in P3. Ted P4, Sumo P5, Vardy P6, an incredible drive to finish ahead of Aces in P7. That's in P8, Kington P9, Tier rounds off the top 10, QB P11, Icon in P12, Kizagiza 13, Conan, an impressive debut, as well as Ollie, just a little bit further back and unlucky for them, but they were driving really well, and fastest lap for Ollie in fact. Wayne P16, Max P17, and Kieran the lone retirement in P18. Great move on Sumo, really, really well done for Paus there. It's going to be a big confidence boost. And do remember to like the stream, that's been the first race done. So if you are enjoying so far, halfway through, make sure to like the stream, it really does help the channel. So we're now going to head to Bahrain. A great track in terms of racing. Always produces well in APPF1. So just while we wait for Pals and Dave to sort out the the grid for the next race, as you can't do a quick reverse grid unlike you can on other games such as GT Sport. It's a shame on F1. Hopefully it can be something they introduce for the future, but they have to do custom grid for the moment. But it's better than nothing. It gives us the excitement of the reverse grid sprint races. Well, in fact, both are reverse grid. Oh no, both are sprint races. Only one of them's reverse grid. Shouldn't be too long now, folks. Go to the toilet, especially if your name is Grandad Bonkers, because I don't want to make the same mistake as last week. Congratulations to Pal, congratulations to everyone on the podium, everyone in general. Really clean race. Really great racing up and down the field as well. Tried to include as much as I could, but it was all happening at the front. And here we go, we're getting ready to go. Countdown is on. Definitely was a bonkers race. Could be even more bonkers at Bahrain. It always is at Bahrain. Bahrain has never been a boring race since I've joined APPF1, so especially last time we were here. Bahrain's short, hectic race. So they carry that same momentum into today. It'd be nice to see. Will it rain? Probably not. I think it's actually set to dry. So Definitely not, and it's increasingly unlikely at Bahrain as well. So yeah, hopefully the Alfa Romeo boys can put their setups on for this sprint race, or for the reverse grid race. I keep saying the sprint race, it's not. They're both sprint races. It's the sprint championship. Here we go for the formation lap. It's a Ferrari and Williams front row. Max followed by Wayne. Let's have a quick look at the tyres. So pretty mixed actually. Icon on the mediums, Patterson and Aces on the mediums, Sumo on the mediums, and Scott on the mediums. But the others mainly on the sauce. So it is Max that leads from pole position. Some great pace recently, so might be able to hang on to it. Wayne in P2, Ollie P3, Conan P4, Kizagiza P5, Icon P6, QB P7, Tier P8, Kington P9, Patterson dead middle in P10, Aces in P11, Varley P12, Sumo P13, Ted P14, Pavs P15, Scott P16, Davila P18, and Kieran, as he did retire, in P18. Don't say that. Moosey's just ran to Google Translate and hoped that it sort of works. That or she's fallen on her keyboard. Yeah, I know. Don't worry. We're not snowflakes. Wayne's starting P2 though, so hopefully he's going to shut you up, and if he is your mate, then he won't shut up about it if he does get a podium. Fingers crossed he can. Be nice to see some new people on the podium. Max especially, really working hard, really improved well. That's neutral, not the right gear to be in. $14 laps ahead of us then. And Wayne's eager to get going. He's already overtaken the Ferrari. You can see weaving around. He's a boss. Absolutely. Icon disqualified, and he's brought QB with him, so they're going to be on slightly colder tyres for the start. It's a pretty long run towards turn 1, much longer than it is at Canada. So slipstream does help, really tight into the corner, and then turn 2 you'll have the inside if you can keep it on the outside of turn 1. So it does promote some good racing, does Bahrain. Probably one of the only Tilcodromes that do so, actually. Malaysia's a good one as well. I believe Malaysia's a Tilcodrome. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it is. I believe Bahrain is as well. I'd hope it is. Max lining up on pole position. Wayne right there, ready to take it if he really wants, off a good start. Ollie and P3, the two debutees of Ollie and Conan. Now they've got one race under their belts. What can they do in their second? Waiting for Kieran to line up at the back of the grid. They're finally finalising themselves in their grid slot. Now the green flag will be waved for the first lap, not the second lap. Of 14. Green flag showing, we go to 5 red lights. The crowd is cheering. It's round number 6. It's the sprint race, the reverse grid sprint race. And we're underway, and it's a really good launch for Max. Bit of a wheel spin though, that's going to allow Wayne to get a good launch. And alongside, coming towards turn 1, that is going to cost Max. The Mercedes trying to find the way through. The Red Bull of Ted coming through there, but Max going to keep it on the outside of turn 1. Really fight Wayne all the way through. The Mercedes of Ollie really hanging on well for P3 there. And there's a racing point. That's Conan going round. He's going to collect Tier with him. That's a big crash, and a safety car out already. That is a monstrous crash there. Conan getting a bit sideways. Luckily, Tier has managed to keep going with that one. Got 2 penalties at the front. Is that Max and Wayne have had a bit of contact under the safety car potentially? It is. It's 5 seconds. It's a big shame. Safety car's out. Who's going to come in for the hards? Will work if they do go for the hards. That's gonna It's going to neutralise the race for the time being, everyone having to adhere to a 40% race speed delta. This is really going to spice things up. Who's going to bite the bullet and come in for maybe some hard tyres? And those who went for the mediums off the start, really going to lose out because of this. Powers with a good start, up 1. Davila up 5, really good launch from him. Scott up 5 as well, managed to get in front. Or stay in front, rather. Vardy up to P6 as well. Great start from him. Really stretching his legs. Really strong at Bahrain. Always is Vardy. Especially at Bahrain short. Really dominates right now for some strange reason. But who is going to come into the pits for some hard compound tyres? Or are they going to stay on their original strategy? Either way, it will work. And that's Wayne coming in. Flat out in. That's pit assist for you. Is the Williams. That's a lot of hard. That's a few pit crews coming out then for the hards. This is him coming for the mediums and serving his 5-second penalty. That's actually true. Max could have done this. Patterson, pit. No, he's staying out on his mediums. He's going long. Hopefully hoping for another safety car, but hopefully we don't see any more retirements than Conan. That's a big shame for his second start in the league. So yeah, at the moment, Ted still leads the way in the championship. Really strong showing from him with only 2 more rounds to go after this one, round 7 and then round 8. So all at stake now, really. Ted really showing some good promise to take his first championship, and Red Bull as well looking good to take their Constructors Championship 1 and 2 in the drivers. That's going to give them first place in the Constructors and by some fine margin as well, it must be said. Looking really strong this season at Red Bull, and with last season's runner-up of Vardy and regular race winner of Ted there as well. It's definitely a really strong lineup. Yeah, it's nice to see Max leading the race. He's got a 5-second penalty though, which is not going to help him one bit, but we're probably going to go racing at the end of the next lap. Yeah, looking like we're going to go racing at the end of the next lap, because that's now where Tier is. And did Pauks pit? Indeed he is. He's on the hard tyres going to the end. So very bold strategy from him. Something not many of the other front runners in big quotation marks did. Actually, Scott did as well. He bit the bullet and went for the hards. And iron going on for them as well. So who's going to lose out because of this? Davila has gone on for some fresh mediums. He's out on. Will those go to the end? That is a big question. Will they go to the end? Probably. I mean, Ted's coming as well. Vardy's coming for fresh mediums. It's a big gamble between the two tyres. I would be safe to go to the hards. But maybe if the safety car stays up one more lap, is that Tier stranded? It is. He's had a spin where he spun on lap 1, and that is going to cost him. Hopefully he can catch himself back up before the safety car comes in. That would definitely help. And it looks as though Tier has managed to get himself onto the back of the pack, so hopefully we're back under green flag racing at the end of this lap. Ready to go to lap 4. Safety car in this lap, confirmed by race control, so we are ready to go racing. And the pack's pace is at the full discretion of Max. He's going to weave around, back everyone up. He's going to want to hang on to this race lead as much as he can, but Patterson's going to look feisty off the start. Ollie's going to want to make an impression for himself. He's shown some really good pace recently. Well, I say recently, he's shown good promise in his first round of APPF1. And Max really close to the safety car. He hasn't backed up much. So he's going to wait as long as he can. As soon as the safety car light goes off, he is going to go. And they are so close. We're back on the green flag racing, and already Patterson coming alongside the Mercedes. They are going to run through abreast. Ace is on the left hand side as well, and Max really just trying not to get involved in this. Patterson in the middle, the Mercedes on the inside. Ollie trying to hang on to P2, but there goes Aces around the outside, goes into neutral there. That's not going to help him. Patterson tries to make the most of it. He's going to go for a bit of a cutback maneuver, use overtake up the hill, and in the slipstream he's going to pull to the inside of turn 4. Yellow flags already through sector 1. That's Sumo and QB having a bit of an off. Towards turn 4 goes Patterson. He's going to claim the position, get himself on the podium, but Ace is still around the outside, maybe having a look, but no. And Ollie fighting for the race lead ahead of Max, trying to chase after Max. And Ace is still on the back of Patterson, goes for a last ditch effort down the inside, does not phase Patterson one bit. He was always going to claim that corner, but Ollie fighting for the race lead in his first round of APPF1. Very impressive stuff. Max trying to hang on, but Ted coming down through turn 10. Icon with a bit of contact to the back of Vardy. Here's Vardy trying to get past Kiza. He needs to get this move done quickly, and the fresh medium tyres is up the inside. And very nicely down the AlphaTauri, trying around the outside, but knows that's never going to work. And Vardy up to P5 now, chasing after Aces in the fight for P3. Paus right behind his teammate who's on the fresh medium, so Paus maybe not going for the right decision. We'll see in around about 11 laps time. Davila very deep into turn 11. Turn 13, sorry. But Wayne now getting passed by Kieran. Scott getting past Icon down the inside of the final corner. Back up front, here's Ollie chasing after Max. He's not using overtake. Patterson definitely is, he's closing. So still a 3-horse race at the front. Patterson going for the move up the inside. Big send, but just about didn't get that stopped in time. And that was a very, very close call there. But Vardy has driven up to the back of these guys, and he's going for the move on Aces. He's using his overtake. He does want to go for it, but he's realised that that's not really going to work. So he's going to back off, set the move up in for maybe a few moments time. Goes a little bit deep through turn 4. Through 5, 6 and 7. Ironcorn went side by side with Ted. Yellow flash through sector 1. That's going to be Wayne going around. Unfortunately, the man who started P2 not had the best of races. Patterson's still there with Aces. He's not been able to shake him just yet, but Max really controlling this pace well. Ace has got a great launch. Patterson having to defend. He's really looking in his mirrors. Ace is all over the back of him now as they hurdle towards turn number 11. He's going to look to the outside, but it's not too big of a braking zone. You really have to carry the momentum through, so a last ditch effort is going to end up in you spinning round. We'll have DRS in a few corners time. The third lap in from the restart is where we get the DRS. Now towards turn 14. Ace is still there. Hardy definitely still there, but they're going to wait for the DRS instead. Wayne with a 3-second penalty. We're on to lap 6 now. Yellow flag actually set to 3. That's going to be Wayne again spinning round. Really, really bad day for him. He's going to give up on that one. Here comes Davila on the inside of Kington. Should be pretty plain sailing up the inside under brakes. Is Kington going to go around the outside? He's going to try. He's going to keep it there. Davila is going to be on the outside for turn 2. It'll be the inside for turn 3. And then furthermore the inside for turn number 4. He's going to claim that, but well fought from Kington to at least try. And Kieran closing. House also closing. The flash just at the 3 still. I believe Wayne has given it up. Ollie closing on Max. Patterson closing up as well. Still a 4-horse race, even a 5-horse race as Vardy's joined the party. So very, very close at the front. Remember Max with a 5-second time penalty, which is a big shame. And these tyres are going to start to wear. Remember Vardy's already stopped, so Vardy net lead of the race at the moment. Paus getting himself past Kieran. Kieran fighting it around the outside. Bit of contact and Paus has been sent round. Oh no, he's managed to save it pretty well. That's still going to be a lot of lost momentum there. Big shame. Patterson on the back of Ollie. He's going to look for it to the inside of turn 14. Not the brightest of places to go for the move. He's going to send it maybe too late on the brakes, going to the back of Max. No, he's not. Ollie around the outside. He's kept his foot in. Very much respect given from both drivers. They're going to run side by side. Max defends to the inside. Here comes Patterson for the race lead. 2 moves in 2 corners. The Mercedes trying to go for the inside. Is he going to send it? He's going to follow Patterson through and get Max. There goes Patterson into the race lead. Ollie trying to go up the inside of Max. Max going back up the inside maybe. There's Ollie getting a 3-second penalty, but setting up the cutback. And side by side goes Vardy. He's got himself back past Aces and up into P4. Here comes Ollie on the inside of Max. He's going to keep him on the outside. Vardy then going to follow him through because Max is very, very wide and having a little look. So Max lost 2 positions there. Ollie staying station in P2, but Patterson a great sequence of corners then to get himself into the lead of the race. Vardy knows he doesn't need to get himself involved in this skirmish and pick up any unnecessary damage because he's already pitted. He's fine. He's content where he is. So as soon as these guys pit, he's going to take the race lead. He's got a good launch though. He's going to go for the move on Max, who's really compromised, and Max knows not to fight this one too harshly, surely, because Vardy, yeah, good run, good speed. Onto the podium very nicely. Davila getting himself into P9 on the back of P8. I was trying to recover this. Sumo around the outside of Kieran. Kept his foot in really nicely done. It'll be the inside for turn 12. Kieran going for a bit of a switcheroo, maybe going back underneath him. He is going to look up the inside. Sumo's always going to turn in though and claim the corner. He's going to force the Haas round. Oh, that is a big crash, big shunt. He's out of the race, surely. No, he's managed to keep it going, but that is a big shunt, similar to a lot of crashes. Maybe the wind getting a bit best of him, perhaps. That was real life, but just got a bit scared there. Max and Ollie both into the pit lane then. And for some medium compound tyres to the end of the race. Same for Max. He's going to have to serve his penalty though. Here comes Davila on Ioncon. Around the outside, Ioncon trying to keep it on the inside. That's just going to lose his momentum, completely kill his momentum in fact. Vardy now released to try and chase after Patterson. He's got the clear air in front. And it's closing, so these medium tyres coming into their own finally. Sumo on the back of Tier. A lot of fights going on up and down the field. Ollie's come out in P13. That's cost him a lot. He's really far behind a lot of people, but he was running really well. If the safety car hadn't come in, he would be in a really good position in fact. Goes to show those who took the gamble under safety car to pit. Take closing on Scott for P4. Scott's driven really well to get himself up this high. Still 6 laps or so to go. Vardy well on the back of Patterson, who's surely coming into the pits this lap. He's going to stay out. So Vardy surely now closing with Slipstream and DRS. The Williams tries to pull to the inside, but he sets the fastest lap in the process, and Patterson is sitting duck on the straight. Hasn't got anywhere near enough ERS to defend this one. So Vardy into the lead of the race. He's already stopped and he's going to the end. So really impressive stuff from the Red Bull. Always one to be good at overtaking and coming through the field. Here comes Sumo on the inside of Tier. Tier trying to fight it. He gets a nice little switcheroo there. He's going to be the outside for turn 2. Bit sideways though. And that is going to be contact between Kieser and Kington, I believe. Scott Zulskin very slowly as well. What's happened to Scott? Has he got a bit of his wing chopped off or something? No. Something just seemed to have gone on that's compromised him there. Very wide goes. Is that Kington maybe? Kieser off the track. So Sumo up to P9. It's all kicked off here. Is that maybe Scott and Kieser coming together perhaps? Whatever it is, something's happened. There's Powers trying to get up the inside of Tier, having a little look-see. Tier on the outside of Kieser. Powers backing off, knows 10-10 isn't the best overtaking opportunity, but Davila up to P5, Icon P6. Scott chasing back after him, trying to recover from that. Here comes Tier on the inside. Powers a little bit further back, can't quite do much, so there's Tier into the top 10. And closing on Kieser, getting himself into the top 11. Only a matter of time, surely. Closing extremely quickly. There's Patterson and Aces both into the pits. How much are they going to lose because of this? There's a very wide Ferrari trying to fight Sumo. Not going to have DRS. Here comes Scott closing on Ioncon. They're both darting to the inside to stay in each other's slipstream. Ioncon trying to defend. Scott put it into the outside. He's going to let Ioncon go in deep. He says, you can do that. I'm going to go this way through. He knew he was going in deep. Ioncon expected Scott to go around the outside, so tried to break as late as he could to prevent it, but Scott read it perfectly. That's him back into the top 4. Davila in to 3rd. And Vardy leads the way, so it's a Red Bull 1-2 as it stands. Great drive from those at the back. Paus struggling a little bit, but still into the top 10. Maybe the Haas weren't the way to go for him. 5 laps of this race remaining. Ollie with another 3-second penalty. Struggling now in these later stages, but driving brilliantly in the first stage. Here on the back of Kington. Paus definitely in for the run of maybe even P6 if he can get his head down. Towards a very heavy braking zone, a really awkward braking zone of turn 10. Paus very wide here with a great launch already alongside and past. Just darted to the inside and flew past Kington. It was just more of a sitting duck. The Ferrari engine definitely isn't that bad, I can tell that much, but here with just an unsatiable exit. Looking to the inside maybe. Here comes Paus getting himself into the top 8. And into turn 14, hopefully he can cover off the cutback, but around the outside looks Kington. He's not really alongside there, so Paus is going to claim the corner, take it away from him. But he's immediately back under pressure with Kington, who's had a great exit and already alongside on the run towards turn 1. Paus on the inside. He needs to keep this position though, so he's going to brake as late as he can up the inside, and the Ferrari can't really do much, especially with his damage. And he's going to have the DRS. He was behind at the detection point. He's going to have DRS back up the hill towards turn 4. Ferrari leads the way, 8 seconds clear. Really, really strong at Bahrain. Kington falling a little bit back. He's got a bit of damage, you can see, to the front left end plate. Sumo closing on Ioncon. A little bit, but not the best run through turn 10. That's going to cost him DRS. He needs to use the DRS to get back into it. Ollie on the back of Kiesa. Here he goes. He's driving up the inside. The Mercedes looking very slippery in a straight line. And towards turn 11, got the move done before the braking zone. And that's Ollie back into the top 10. But the only driver with a penalty on the grid at the moment. I say that, Max has picked himself up one, literally as I said. So Max now the second driver with a penalty. It's going to be 8 seconds total penalties for Max after his 5-second stop go. Patterson coming up the inside of Kiesa. Really strong race from Patterson up until the pit stop. Again, got one of those that got caught out by the safety car. Here comes Sumo, trying to close on Ioncon, but doesn't quite have enough in the tank to close it, especially in terms of ERS. Ollie getting himself past Kington as well and into the top 9. Really good mature drive from Ioncon, especially up in P5. There's Paus getting himself past Tier as well, up into P7. Ollie driving really well, really maturely. Some great pace being shown from him, some great promise, but that's another 3-second penalty. Will drop him outside the top 10, well and truly outside the top 10 in fact. Patterson setting up the move on Kington, trying to do it a few moves in advance. You've got to do that. You've got to be similar to chess. You've got to be well ahead of your opponent. You need to think moves ahead. Patterson tried that through turn 6 and 7, but Kington parking it where he needed to. He's going to have DRS though. He's got a great launch off Kington, and DRS is going to carry him up the inside. Sumo still on the back of Ioncon, so Ioncon not solidified in that P5. Here we come on to the penultimate lap. Vardy leading us around 10, nearly 11 seconds clear of his teammate now. Some uncomprehendable pace from Vardy, really an alien around Bahrain. But Sumo now, good exit, that's all he needs. He's using his ERS early, he's got the DRS in 30 metres time. He's now got it activated. A DRS flap open, he's got a lot of speed, he's closing at almost 5 miles an hour, but it's not going to be enough again. He needs that ERS assistance. Some dust being kicked up from Scott then. Another mistake perhaps. And Sumo just We say it usually, he's really quick on the traction zones, but he's when behind another car, it's very difficult for him to be as good. Icon half defensive, so Sumo going to try and set him up for a cutback. He had a little look around the outside, but now he's got a nice little cutback, maybe towards turn 5. It's going to be very, very ambitious into the turn 6 and flick for 7. Ollie on the back of Tier, getting on to the back of his teammate. Patterson as well involved. Palf's hard tyres are slowly going to come into their own. But maybe if this was a 20-lap race, they might be a little bit better. Sumo closing on Icon. Is this going to be the move? Icon half defensive to the middle, really parking it well. Not much Sumo can do. He's going to go for the cutback. He's going to drive it up the inside, and Icon will have the inside, but he's got enough of a drive to drive it back around the outside and keep the foot in. And Sumo maybe just not wanting to go for the move there. Kieran retiring again from the session. That's a big shame. He does drive well up until the mistakes start to come, and here he goes around the outside of turn 14. Goes Sumo. He's going to try and keep the foot in. Icon compromised on the exit. A great move from Sumo there, but Palf's now lingering in the background. He's got a little bit of ERS to use. He's now coming for the move on Icon. He's going to pull to the inside, have the slipstream of Sumo in front, and blast him into P6. Maybe having a little look at Sumo in a few moments' time. That's very late under brakes. That is going to cramp his leg up. He's really scared to have managed to get that stopped. Icon back up the inside, but Pav's keeping it there. Icon with a 3-second penalty. Cut in turn 2, just that tad bit too much. Here comes Tier on Icon. They're all coming through now. Once one got through, they're all deciding to come. That is very late from Tier up the inside, and Pav's luckily managing to avoid that. But Tier, yeah, hard his mouth after that one. He did. He caused a massive pile up. And up to P6 goes Pav's. That's going to be a free position. Patterson trying to eye up the move, goes over that curb. That's going to cost him. That's going to allow Ollie to have a little look up the inside. Very mature, very intelligent stuff, but he's just broken a little bit too late, lit up the rears, and he's managed to hold that really impressively. Ollie should be more of a drifter than a Formula 1 driver, because yeah, that was great to have held that and not keep it in a straight line. Could probably teach Palps one or two things. Scott on the back of Davila. Still possible for Scott to pick up a podium now as we come on to the final lap of the race. Only a couple of corners left to go, however. So Vardy, great drive. Cannot fault it at all. He's across the line. He takes the win. And Ted in a few corners time will take it as well. Icon and Patterson still fighting it to the death. Around the outside goes Patterson. Really nicely done. And Icon might just have to settle for P8, but he's coming back at him. Ted coming across the line now in P2. Davila P3 is going to hang on from Scott. Still side by side goes Icon and Patterson, though. He's keeping his foot and he's going to push him all the way. It's now a drag race to the line. Has Patterson got enough ERS? So close. Who's going to get it? It's going to be Icon, but Patterson on penalties is going to take P7. What a drag race there. Couldn't have been closer. 17 hundredths of a second between the two. Yeah, great second race. Not disappointed there at all. Vardy just completely dominated. And driver of the day going to Davila. Very well deserved. Drove brilliantly. Get himself on the podium. And a well-deserved win, a well-deserved 1-2 going back to Red Bull and extending their lead in the championship once again. But it is Vardy that's going to take the win ahead of Ted and Davila, rounding off the top three. Double podium for Davila tonight. Really impressive stuff. Only driver to do so, and Ted back on the podium. Scott P4, Sumo P5, Paus P6, Patterson P7. That's a lot of P's to say. Icon P8, Aces in P9, Kington P10, Kizagiza P11, Ollie P12, Tier P13, Max P14, QB P15, and the retirements of Kieran, Wayne, and Conan. Great racing by Icon. Exactly, really drove well. Managed to hold you off for quite a while, but as soon as one of you got through, pretty much all of you managed to get through. Really did cost his momentum there. But that is going to round off the action for tonight, guys. We've had two great races for round 6. We've only got 2 more rounds left to go. It's sad, right? Season 2 has flown by. But if you have enjoyed, do make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel, and make sure to check out the onboards from APPF1 as well. That podium in Canada, definitely one to remember. But I've been Zach Sweeney. I hope you have enjoyed. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Goodbye.